What's up guys, it's an incredibly nappy-haired and very allergy-riddled Christian, and in today's video I want to go over whether God has a sense of humor or not, and if he does, what is his sense of humor like? So since God's sense of humor is not the main focus of the Bible, it can be kind of hard to see his sense of humor unless you really look at the circumstances of different situations and different verses. So let's do that. One really good example of God's sense of humor and how it works is in 1 Samuel chapter 5, and it's when the Philistines, the Israelites, were basically using the Ark of the Covenant as a good luck charm and an idol for whenever they went into battle. And the first time they presented it to another idol they created named Dagon. The next morning when they returned, Dagon was completely just fallen over. And the second morning after they had returned, not learning from the first time, Dagon had his head and hands cut off. And that could be seen as comical because it shows just how powerless Dagon was to the real God. And if you ask me, that's a pretty humiliating position to be in before God. Before anyone, but especially before God. Two more examples of God's sense of humor are in Psalm chapter 59 and in Psalm chapter 2, where it says that God laughs at those who think that they can possibly oppose him and his people and win. I don't think I really need to explain it all that much, because any human that thinks that they can overthrow God, that's pretty comical, but at the same time, there is a serious side to it, so it's not all comical. God desires that all turn from those ways and that all come to him, so although it is quite funny, there is also a serious side to it and should be treated seriously, even though it is pretty comical that they think that they could possibly ever overthrow God. We can also see God's sense of humor just in the world around us, such as the way certain animals are designed and how they function and how different things around the world function. And the most obvious sign that God has a sense of humor is us. We are made in God's image, so since we can express humor and have a sense of humor, God must have a sense of humor and be able to express humor. Of course, our humor is marred by sin, so we tend to find sinful things funny and God doesn't, but the more we seek God and the more we go after God, the more our humor becomes like his. And one last instance is when Jesus walks past two of his disciples and they don't even recognize him, albeit this is after his resurrection, so he was in his resurrected body, but still one can find that people that had been with him for years don't even remotely recognize him to be pretty funny, and he just walks right past them and they don't have any idea who he is. They just think he's some ordinary stranger. So we can see from all of this that God does indeed have a sense of humor. We just have to remember that his sense of humor is pure and holy and good and isn't at the expense of others, unlike our humor, which tends to be inappropriate and at the expense of others and just sinful. So I thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and post other and comment other instances of God's humor if you can find any, and leave video suggestions. Be sure to support me on Patreon if you would like, and thank you all so much, and see you guys in the next one.